Ain't no telling what I'm finna be on.
Hello, ladies and gentlefish. It's Nuno and Jordan here, and today we are taking a journey back in time to the time of the Middle Passage. The Middle Passage was just one part of the triangular trade route in which fellow countrymen would enslave each other and ship them to the West Indies for profit. This area of Africa, including Nigeria, was known as Slave Coast. Now that you know a little bit about slavery, let's talk about the Middle Passage and what purpose it actually served. The Middle Passage was a route that got slaves to the West Indies from Western Africa. 1 out of every 5 Africans were enslaved and sent overseas and treated like cattle and had to walk in slave caravans. The average lifespan of a slave was 37 years. The slaves were densely packed into ships and found that they had little to minimum space on the ships due to the great number of people on them. The voyage for the slaves also wasn't nice and smooth right over to the West Indies. It was very common to see the ship being tossed around by vigorous waves, ship moving left and right, the slaves feeling sick, throwing up overboard and squatting nude on the deck. And the ship kept getting tossed around like... And as a result, the boats would only last 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice job, Kobe. And a law was passed in 1788 to give the slaves more space on ships. This was very helpful due to the fact that 10 to 15 million slaves had been shipped on the Middle Passage. And then 6 to 7 million would end up working in the fields with tobacco, rice, and indigo. One specific slave, Olaudah Equiano, tried to stand up for his rights by expressing how he felt about the problems. On his voyage to the Middle Passage, he fainted. I said he fainted. Much better. Due to cruel, unusual, and harsh punishment, and he struggled to find food. He described how horrid the conditions were on board and how he could hear groans of death on the daily. He believed that the slaves were dehumanized and used for human trafficking. One day, Equiano also talked about how men would jump off of the boats and use tubs as bathrooms. Once the slaves reached the West Indies, they wouldn't go back to their homeland. Instead, they'd be sent to work in fields. The trade finally finished in 1807, and the Africans became poor for not being able to export slaves.
Hit it, Fergie.
All the time I turn around, brothers gather around, always looking at me up and down, looking at my